Call the meeting to order, and everybody zoom in on Joe's flag. Where'd you go? There he is. And let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, this is always fun. Stand up. Okay, I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't see how these guys do these musical things where they all do at the same time, because it doesn't work here. All right, roll call. So we got to go each individual board member where you're at. So I'll go first, I guess. Rick Hamill, I'm at 205 North John in my office.
And I am Tammy, and I'm in Highland Township. Jenny?
Jennifer Frederick, I'm here in Highland Township.
Brian?
Brian Howe, Woodridge Court, Highland Township.
Beth?
Beth Lewis, Highland Township.
And Joe?
Joe Salvia, Highland Township.
Okay, and we are missing Miss
Judy Cooper.
She had a death in the family, and she sends her regards. She won't be making it tonight, but she'll be back with us at the next meeting.
Yeah, so I might as well bring that up right now. Judy's brother, who's been fighting a form of cancer, leukemia, for quite a while, passed away on the January 1st. So long battle on his. A lot of her, all of her spare time to trying to help him make it through, and unfortunately he but he did a great job. So kudos to Judy for taking care of a family member like that. I mean, that's her youngest brother. Have him go. His name was Jordan. So, all right, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. I have no changes or recommendations for you.
Motion to approve the agenda, Salvia.
Didn't hear you there, Brian. I saw your lips move.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Mrs. Frederick?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Hamill?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item is the consent agenda approval. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, Salvia.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. Frederick?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Mr. Hamill?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item, announcements and information. Township offices will be closed Monday, January 18th in observance of Luther King Day. Anybody else have any announcements or things they'd like to say at this time?
I would make an announcement in lieu of waiting to public comment. If you're not aware of it, Phil Rashid passed away. His funeral was today. And I participated at the funeral last night at Visitation and at St. Mary's Church today.
Yeah, that's a bad thing there.
And I'd like to say that a couple of weeks ago, we lost former Supervisor Willis Bullard.
Yep.
Passed away. So it goes back to the 80s, I think. Around when I was in high school, I think he was supervisor and trustee of the township and many other roles in government, but he started in Highland Township. So I just want to say Willis was always great to me and always very nice to me. And I really always appreciated his kind words. And it was hard when I heard that. So I just want to just get some, get a little recognition for former supervisor and trustee Willis Bullard.
Yep, he was the supervisor in 1982 to 86, I think it was. And he actually is a supervisor that brought Highland Township into a charter township, from a regular township to a charter township. And also held every other position you could possibly hold in the county and the state, short of governor.
And lieutenant governor.
I
always said that to him.
And which is pretty doggone impressive. I mean, if there's anybody that knows politics inside and out, he knew it. And he was, I met him when he first moved into Highland, and stayed good friends with him for a lot of years. So he'll be missed.
It seemed like he was Anthony Noble was very excited to have him at White Lake to help him. And it seemed like I couldn't tell Willis's, because obviously I didn't talk to him about it, but Anthony seemed very excited in the paper, at least, that they had Willis coming on. I'm sure a great resource and a great deputy to have with all his knowledge. So, which is too bad too. So, all right. Thanks.
Okay. So it's time for public comment. Anybody sitting in the back corner there want to make a comment? Public comment? I do know that, let's see, where I thought I saw Dave Bell on, and Diane Brookheisen. I'm assuming there's some probably, I'll make some comments about the community sharing. I started some advance work over at the library property, moving some dirt and debris that was been deposited there over the years. And I finished today moving a pile of dirt that was almost 2,000 yards of top. And that it took 5 days of continuous digging with an excavator in this giant dump truck that I rented for the project. And so now we have the space cleared out. There's still a little pile of dirt left that I got to move, but it's insignificant. So we'll have the space moved where the building will potentially set, and then we'll get together with Dave and Bell and Jay Gordon, and what was the other fellow's name, Dave, that you introduced me to?
Dave Grassi.
Yeah, and we'll do a layout of the building and put some stakes in the ground. Anybody wants to walk back there, they can get a look and a feel for it. I've had a couple of neighbors in the back corner there ask questions, and what was interesting was one was some email stuff, and that individual actually read the newspaper, which I was impressed. And then the fellow right directly behind, came over today, and he says, well, a lot of the people in the neighborhood didn't know anything about it. I said, well, if they read their newspaper, they would know about it. It's been a time. So that, I think this is a good example of Nancy Brandstetter's on this meeting, that people do need to read that newspaper, and it is a great resource because it can give a lot of good information. So we're moving forward. The next steps are we need to, the team here needs to get together and come up with the final details for how community sharing sees our working relationship, so that we can, at our February board meeting, we hopefully can have an agreement that allows us to move forward in a more real way. Right now, we're kind of moving dirt, so it's kind of I'm cleaning house, but we're getting it ready for the facility to be able to locate itself. So that'll be the next steps. And so, Dave, did you have anything you'd like to say?
First of all, thank you, Rick, and thanks to the board for your support. If anyone asks or has questions or send you emails, if you go to our website, for the communitysharing.org website, under news, we have a link to all the spinal column articles, and we have a list of frequently asked questions. People say, well, what is this? What are you doing? How big and why? So on our website, under news, if you ever get in a bind and need to answer a question, you can look there, or you can contact me at any time and we can answer those questions. Rick had one that was a little tricky. We talked about Saturday that I could address in 30 seconds. So again, any questions at all, what's on our mind? Also on that website's 8-minute video testimony from clients of what we do and how much they appreciate us. So again, if you get an email and you don't need a little help with, just take a look at the website. But thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right. So if anybody that likes to know conversions in terms of how much weight was moved, it was a little over 2,970,000 pounds of dirt. And all I had to do was move my fingers back and forth. So didn't have to use a shovel. So a lot of dirt, great dirt too. I'm glad that we found it because it'll be usable in other places. All right. So any other public comment?
We want to remind people to turn off mute if they want a public comment.
All right, so we'll move on. Okay, item 8, public hearing. So the first item is we got to open a public hearing for, let me get to it over here, for Dunlevy and Leonard Lakes. And so let's see here. We'll start it at 6:42. So this is a public hearing. So anybody interested or that is some relationship to Dunlevy and Leonard Lake SADs, these are for lake boards and maintenance on the lake. And so what I'm scrolling through is these are all of the Sidwell numbers. Here's images of the lakes so that you can get an idea of who's covered in that. There's general information. Their share per year is $245. It's for a period of 5 years. And I think this is the second public hearing. You have to have 2 different public hearings. So after this, we'll, after I close the public hearing, I hear no.
It's the second of 3, right?
No, I think you do 2. Gary,
Mr. Hamill?
Yeah.
The final public hearing will be on confirming the special assessment role, and I do not think that's what you have before you tonight.
Okay, so this is just a public hearing. We leave it at that? No vote.
No, we're just having a hearing.
Okay, that was easy. All right, I heard no comments, so we're going to end it at 6:44.
Do we have to make a vote to set a public hearing?
Rick, can you go back to the agenda item? I mean, the material on this?
Let's see. We had one that was a Zoom meeting. That was back in October 20th.
Mr. Hamill?
Yeah.
This is Beth Corwin. Your first meeting was the meeting where you established the tentative intent to form a district. It was just a meeting.
Okay.
You received the petitions at that meeting.
All
This is the first meeting where people can comment, object, or you know, speak in affirmation of the plans and the cost estimate. And then the third meeting will also be a public hearing, and that's purpose is to react to the role. So you have 3 meetings, but only 2 of them are technically public hearings.
All right, so this
So
is,
you're in your 2nd meeting.
so I guess we're going to have to work with Oakland County to set up the next meeting. Is that correct?
No, it's a local special assessment district.
Okay, so
The date of your next meeting, it could be your next meeting. That's adequate time.
Do we have to make any kind of motion today, Beth?
Yes, you should set the public hearing for your next meeting.
all right, I'm going to make a motion that we set the final public hearing for Leonard Lake, Dunleavy and Leonard Lake Special Assessment District for, I believe it's February 1st. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
2021 at 6:30. The meeting starts at 6:30 p.m. That was a motion.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote please.
I vote yes. Mr. Salvia? Joe, you're muted.
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Mrs. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, somebody-
Motion carries. And then I'm gonna note that we closed the
Public hearing.
public hearing at 6:46.
Just a question for Mr. Dovry.
Yeah.
Gary, do they need a second motion to direct the supervisor to create the role?
You know, when I looked at the agenda packet for this, I thought there was a resolution included with it, but that's not the case.
Nope.
Yes, there is a resolution. I believe that's what Mr.
Where's that at?
Is it below this ad?
I thought I saw one, but typically at this stage,
This is, I didn't see.
the board would adopt a resolution setting
Right.
a public hearing on confirming the special assessment role for a date and directing that the supervisor file that assessment role by a date before the next meeting.
We didn't get the adequate information on this thing. I don't know where you got yours at, Gary, but this is the, if you look on screen here.
I'm sorry, I didn't look at the packet before. There was a resolution. Maybe it didn't make it in your packet.
It did not.
So
Was there a memo?
Remember we were going to do this at the December meeting?
Yeah.
So
Is
it came to you in December.
Oh, okay. That's why we didn't get it in there. Let me see if I can find it.
Who's got a TV going?
It wasn't my husband's in the other room.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Well, that's the Parks and Rec. Probably. Yeah, see, I don't have the.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Leonard Lake.
may I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I think your motion that you made in past was to set the public hearing for the February meeting at 6:30 p.m. That was the gist of it, right? Yep. So maybe somebody moves to amend that motion to specify that the public hearing is for confirmation of the special assessment role that is to be prepared by the supervisor and filed within the time required by statute. And that the board is at this meeting approving the, I'm trying to read off the cost estimates, plans, and specifications.
I'll add that to my motion.
And I think that's going to cover it. The statute under which we do these SADs talks about actions the board needs to take, but I'm not positive it has to be in a written form of a resolution. So, we'll take a look at this tomorrow or the next day and make sure that we know what the timetables are and get it squared away. I think Beth's got a good handle on that. I must have seen this at the December meeting because I swore I saw a resolution on this, and I saw it on the agenda and thought that one's clean. So I didn't pay any attention. Apologize for that.
No problem. This is hard enough to do this stuff like this anyways. All right, well, that was the motion amended as to our as through our attorney.
And we need a second for the amendment.
I'll support it again.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote please.
Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Howe?
Hold on. I support, hold on, shit. Am I on there?
Yeah.
Yes, you're here.
Yes. I thought I muted myself and I pushed the wrong button.
No,
Crap, sorry about that. Sorry, Gary.
Wash your mouth.
Shoot. I don't know how to get back to it. Okay, hold on.
Get the bar
Frederick?
soap.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
Oh, crap.
Well, we can see you, Brian, and we can hear you. So.
You just
Okay.
can't see us.
I just can't mute myself, that's all. Okay.
Get used.
So that's one public hearing thing. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is a public hearing for a Parks and Recreation Plan. We're going to begin that at 6:53 p.m. And we have Chris Nordstrom here from Carlisle Wortman, who worked with Jennifer and their Parks Committee to put together the Parks and Rec Plan, which was attached to your packet, which was pretty long, but very well done. So Chris, you want to take over there for a minute?
Sure, I'm going to try to share my screen here.
Got my share and you can do yours.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, can everybody see that all right?
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm going to just do a very brief presentation here. We're going to start out with just why we went through this 5-year recreation plan, why we're going through the process. On a overarching level, the reason that you do this is that you want to have a document that helps guide recreation planning and development. It's something that's going to be an official document for the township, something that as your leaders change or as the years go on, you've got an official piece of documentation you can look at and say, this is what we said we wanted to do over the next 5 years. It can be amended, but this gives you a guidepost to work with. The reality is that the main reason that people or that communities do these recreation plans is because it makes you eligible for grant funding. Highland Township is no different. You've already received 3 different Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund grants over the years to help fund Duck Lake Park and what was the other one? Jennifer, I'm blanking. I'm sorry.
Hickory Ridge Pines Park.
Thank you. But there are also the Recreation Passport grants and the Land and Water Conservation Fund grants that are available as well. As we submit this by February 1st, you'll be eligible to apply for those grants at any time. The process involves going through background studies, doing an evaluation of the recreation needs. And I think that was the key piece, because that's the part that involved community input. We had an online survey available from September 2nd through October 15, and we had 92 individuals respond to that and gave really great input. I met with the steering committee on August 25 and on December 10, and they were really outstanding to work with as well. Mistakes that I made is being an outsider, they definitely helped correct those, and I think we've got a really strong plan as a result of those meetings. And then finally, we had the 30-day minimum review period that ran from December 2nd to tonight, and the public hearing that we're having right now. The key findings of the plan was that overwhelmingly people were interested in seeing expansion of the sidewalk and trail network. It was the top choice with a score that was nearly double that of the next highest desired amenity. 82% said that they felt that having a townwide, township-wide trail system was important or very important. A number of people said that a lack of pathways or trails was a reason why they didn't use the local parks. And 89% indicated a preference for multi-use trails, which I think most people, when you ask them about trail development, this is what they picture. It's an 8-foot to 10-foot wide asphalt trail, similar to what you've got already in place. Beyond the trail system, maintenance and upgrading of existing parks was the next highest priority. A number of people mentioned that they'd like to see a dog park put in at some point in the township. Acquiring and developing new parks did receive important or very important by 60% of the survey participants, but it was still one of the lower ranked items. Even so, at 60%, that's still indicating to me that there's interest in seeing the park system expanded. If you were to go that route, passive use nature areas was the third highest requested amenity, and that might be a way to go forward with that. Generally speaking, it sounds like people are really happy with what you've been doing. They want to see it continue, and if they can just figure out a way to get connections to these parks, I think people are going to be really, really happy with what they've got. And that's in a 2 minutes a synopsis of what we've done, and I'm going to open this up to questions.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I mean, I met with the park committee when we reviewed this, and they brought all their comments to the meeting, and Chris was able to address those in this draft. So we did fully review it.
I want to say I really appreciated the work of the Parks, Recreation, and Sidewalk Committee. You guys were amazing. It's nice when I've got somebody keeping me on my toes, and you did that. You really did. It was clear you reviewed the document closely. I think it very strongly reflects the views of the community, and you should be commended for that. Too often, I've seen it where people just said, yeah, this is more than 15 pages. I'm not going to read it. But you guys really, really gave me some great feedback, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you did a great job. I like how the look of it and how it reads, and our goals and objectives, I think, is exactly what the community wants.
Ms. Corwin did the raise hand icon. Did you have a comment, Ms. Corwin? You need to unmute yourself.
That was from earlier, Justin. I'm done.
Okay, just wanted to check.
All right, I think you did. It was a great job, and I did read the whole thing, and that's it's a lot of work and a lot of pieces to put together, and appreciate everything that Chris, that you guys have done, and what Carlisle Wortman has done for us, and it's good to have that partnership. And we don't use you guys probably as much as we should, and so I think this is a good example of why it's important to maintain that that relationship. So there's more coming, and
we're always here for you, and we really enjoy working in your community. So do keep us in mind.
All right. Well, thank you very much. All right. So we'll go back to this exciting screen. And so we're basically in our public hearing. Anybody have any comments or questions? All right, then we'll call it at we'll call it 7 o'clock. It's close enough. 7:01. Okay, on that note, then I'm going to make a motion that we approve the Highland Township Parks and Rec Plan as presented.
And it should be the draft dated 12/14/2020.
And we'll add that.
I second that, Frederick.
All right, so vote please.
All right. We are on Mrs. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Howe.
Yes.
Mrs. Frederick.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Salvia.
Yes.
Mr. Hamel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, so moving into new business. First item is our building department has put in a request to recommend that we approve Steve Davies as a part-time building inspector. Steve, of course, was our building official for a number of years, and he retired, and he's got some spare time, he says. But what we're looking for is, right now we contract a good chunk of the inspections. Steve Tino, our current building official, does inspections, but what happens is it takes a good chunk of his time away from being able to do the plan reviews. The plan reviews are critical to keep these projects moving forward. So the thought is that if we brought Steve Davies back on a part-time basis and paid him by the hour, that we could not only save some money on the cost for inspections, but we'd be able to give Steve Tino, when his time, he takes some time off, we don't have to put everything on hold, because Steve Davies is certified to do plan review, and he can carry things forward while Steve is gone. So I think it's a good symbiotic relationship. And to give you an idea, part of it is that we pay outside contractor inspectors. They get adjoining communities. The average is $40 per inspection. We pay $25 per inspection, so we have a hard time getting them to come to Highland to do help us with inspections. A lot of times you can do a couple of inspections an hour, and if you start looking at, if you guys look at some of the numbers of what we pay out in inspection fees, you can see that there can be some money made doing it. By having Steve come in, he can do as many as he needs to in an hour, and you pay a single rate. So, and he's got the background to handle it. So, anyways, I'll make the motion that we hire Steve Davies as a part-time building inspector at the rate of $30 per hour, not to exceed 29 hours per week, and the earliest start date of January 19th.
Support, Salvia.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Do we have any discussion on the item, or are we ready to vote? All right, Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Mrs. Frederick? You're muted.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item I don't know if Ken, you want to speak on this or not.
Sure. This is the annual physical program that we provide for all of our staff. It's recommended by Michigan Municipal League or Risk Management. I can't remember. One of them recommends we get annual physicals, which are based off of NFPA 1582 standards. We've done it for the past 4 years. We'd just like to continue it on this year.
All right. So that program runs approximately 9,000 or under 9,000. Is that
under 9,000? Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll make the motion that we approve the use of BioCare for mobile exams for the firefighters at an amount to not to exceed $9,000.
Support, Lewis.
Okay, moved and supported. Any questions? All right, vote please.
Mrs. Frederick?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Howe?
You're muted.
Muted.
Yes.
Mr. Hamill?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item is a budget amendment for the fire department. To appropriate funds towards fire capital vehicles. I think, Ken, why don't you go ahead and describe what you're doing here?
This was presented at last board meeting. I'm sorry. It's to purchase a refurbished 2019 brand new chassis, but refurbished box for ALS Transport. Since we've taken over ALS Transport in August of last year, we're putting a lot of miles on the vehicles. This is, it runs in line with our apparatus replacement schedule that we put in place when we requested the 1 mil capital millage back in 2018. We had planned on buying a tanker last year without Station 2 being constructed yet. We figured it was prudent and probably in our best interest to look at replacing one of our ambulances this year.
All right. Anybody have any questions on that?
I would like to add that this is just the ambulance and the chassis. We're looking right now at getting quotes for stretchers, potentially a power load system. I don't have any numbers on that. I'll present it next month at the next board meeting. But that's the price that we're looking for this ambulance is approximately $70,000 less than what I planned in the presentation for the capital millage. So we'll still be well under budget.
So we need like a trebuchet or a catapult that's the power loader.
Kind of.
All right, so I'll make the motion to approve the budget amendment for the appropriate funds towards the fire capital vehicles.
Support, Salvia.
Vote please.
I vote yes. Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Mrs. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Hamill?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Next item, more fire stuff.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ken.
You'll be voting later on tonight regarding the MAF contract, which is the union representing our paid-on-call firefighters. In 2011, the board created a retirement fund for paid-on-call firefighters, which consisted of any employee that had 15 years or more on their retirement got $100 per year of service. You'll see I can't really read the numbers because my computer screen is too small, but the fire retirement will have a $24,200 that will make that board policy from 2011 whole. It will make everybody that's eligible right with the approval of the contract. That'll be paid out this year.
All right. And then basically what's happened is you've come up short by $7,643. And this is an amendment to fund that, right?
Yes, sir. Sorry. This is a one-time lump sum payment.
Yep. Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendment for fire fund.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. The vote, please.
Mr. Salvia,
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Howe,
Yes.
Mrs. Frederick.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Hamel,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. Next item relates to WODA, and time is I've lost track of time on this project because we've been working on it for so many years. We started WODA with 3 communities that are active board members: White Lake, Waterford, and Highland. And we also had Walled Lake on in the program, but as a managed system. The proposal was that we would let Walled Lake continue their management for, I think, did that expire, Kim, at this point?
Yes.
December 30th expired. We had put together a program where it allowed them for us to manage them through 2021 or 2020. And what this does is Walled Lake has decided that they want to become full members, which means that they'd be entitled to join the board, be voting members and contributors. So in order to do that, we have to put together another intergovernmental agreement to create an amendment to the first WODA agreement, and it would allow them to become board members. So anybody have any questions on this before we get any further? This is a good thing. This is the start to, I think this is really going to get some other communities on board. I know Commerce is interested. We've got some interest from Highland Township. The program's running great. Kim, you want to make any comments?
We also have some interest from the village of Holly. We're moving along. We're actually in need of employees. The workload is keeping us hopping every day. We have 7 to 10 vehicles on the road every day. And my drivers are driving anywhere from 6:30 in the morning till 5:30 at night. So we're busy. We have never really shut down. We slowed down in the very beginning of April last year, but ever since then we've been going, and there's a lot of interest. We get new riders every week from all the communities.
So I think the key here is that Walled Lake has seen the value of being a partner in this whole thing. They want to continue on. So Gary, you want to do me a favor and read the motion that I'd like to...
It's slightly different than what's in your memo. And it's only because the agreement in the memo, the agreement posted with us may not be in that final form. So as an alternative, I'd suggest a motion to adopt a resolution approving the City of Walled Lake as a voting and contributing member of WODA, and authorize the supervisor to sign a second amended interlocal agreement for transportation services to provide for that.
Okay, that would be my motion.
Support.
Be moved and supported. All right. Vote.
Okay. Mrs. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Howe,
Yes.
Mrs. Frederick.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Salvia,
Yes.
Mr. Hamel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right.
Rick, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I just want to tell Kim, I don't know if she's still on or not, but what a great job she's done. And it hasn't been always a smooth ride. I know that from past board meetings, but it's been a roller coaster ride, but what a great job she's doing over there. And it's amazing when you drive by and how many vehicles I see over there now. It's just pretty amazing. So I just want to tell her, great job and congratulations on the job she's done. I mean, at one time we thought we might lose this. I mean, you and I have been out doing this for a long time, and it's been all over the place. So with her steady guidance, I guess, it's really worked well. So I just want to tell her congratulations. She's done a great job.
Yep,
I'd like to second that.
Mr. Supervisor, to Kim, you mentioned you need additional employees.
I do.
How many do you need? And so we can get the word out.
Realistically, I need 10.
What are you looking for?
I need drivers and I need a couple dispatchers.
A pay range, high, low?
Low end is 13, high range is 18.
Okay. You want to send out a memo to all of us so we have that intel?
Absolutely. I'll get it out tomorrow.
Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome. Thank you. And thank you, Brian, for your compliments.
Oh, of course, always. Great job.
Good job, Kim. All right. So,
good job, Kim.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the next part. I don't see any reason to go into closed session on this. Greg, do you want to come on board here?
Sure. Hi, Rick. Hi, everybody.
Okay, Greg is our attorney here for the agreement here between the Michigan Association of Firefighters Union for our part-time firefighters. And I guess if you want to describe where we're at and how we got there, I'll let you have at it.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Good evening, everyone. We, as you all recall, we met, it's been a long time, about a year ago, when the union first filed their certificate petition for unionization. I think we started meeting sometime after the pandemic, so probably around April, with the MAF, which is the Michigan Association of Firefighters. They represent the paid on call firefighters. I was with you, I think, a couple months ago when we approved the contract with the full-timers with the IAFF. The contract we have, and Ken, correct me if I say anything wrong, but the contract pretty much mirrors the contract we have with the IAFF, except this is for part-timers. A couple of important things. We got a strong management rights provision, which you want in there. A discipline procedure, some physical, annual physicals and physical fitness program, which are a little unique. And I think the union was pleased too. They got a contract which pretty much maintained all their benefits they had as part-time paid on call employees prior to unionizing. What on the economics, which is everyone always asks about, we agreed to a 3% increase that's effective 1/1/21, so just this week. And we have reopeners for the next 2 years, meaning either party can open the contract to discuss economics. I think we're a little, being the situation we're in, it seemed safest to have a 1-year agreement and come back in a year when we have a better feel for how things are economically. I think it's a good contract for both parties. Took a little while, but that was mostly, it's tough to negotiate in the middle of a pandemic, as we've learned, but we got through it, and I think we have a contract that everyone's happy with, and I clearly support it. And I know Ken does as well.
In my meetings with other supervisors that have had union negotiations, this was very smooth. I mean, it was unconfrontational. It didn't seem to have any, I didn't see any issues at all. And yet speaking with other supervisors, I don't know if they just hate unions or what it is, but not a lot of very positive commentary about the process. But I think in both cases, and maybe Greg, I'll blame it on you for doing a good job.
Actually, I give credit to the chief, because that's how I've been in bad and I've been in good. And if the guys respect the chief and vice versa, these things tend to go a lot smoother.
I didn't want to give him any credit.
Sorry.
Good job, Ken. Anybody have any questions? I know it was fun reading if you guys went through it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Greg, did I just hear you say they respect the chief?
I did say that.
Okay, I just want to make sure I heard that clearly. Okay.
You heard that clear.
Thank you.
All right, so.
Can I just comment real quick?
Sure.
Just to point out that there was a very slight revision to the one that we originally sent out. And so the revised copy was sent out this afternoon from Ken to the board members. And it just adjusts a small detail so that we can align our payroll plan and, when we're making our payments, so the two groups would be at the same as far as the timing.
So a couple other things that are added to that. There's Jenny gets a travel trailer. I get a new pickup truck. Joe, what do you want? We got to add this in here.
I'm just okaying what she said.
No, we're not adding anything, but making the corrections. Just kidding. So on that note, I guess this will make the meeting go smooth and finish with a nice ending. I make a motion that we approve the agreement between the Charter Township of Highland and the Michigan Association of Firefighters Union for Highland Township.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
I'm sorry, was that Joe or Brian?
Brian.
Brian, okay. All right. Mr. Howe.
Yes.
Mrs. Frederick.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Salvia.
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Hamill.
Yes.
Good job.
So
thank you to Ken for leading it, helping us get through this.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks, Ken. Good job.
Thanks, Ken and Greg. Good job.
Thanks, Greg.
You're very welcome.
That was it was very smooth process, and thank you guys. So on that note,
question.
Yes, Joe.
Are we going to have a closed session at Mr. DeVray's house now? Oh, I guess not. Okay.
No, that's the answer to that. I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year. Let's hope that things get better moving forward, that everybody maintains their health. Once again, give your heart to Judy and her family. Big loss to lose a brother. Joe, you know about it. I know about it. I don't know how many others have lost their cohorts that you grew up with, but it's a tough thing to do. I really appreciate everything that all of you have done for Highland and the new people that are on board. I think we've got some exciting years coming up. And 4 years goes fast. So Beth, hang on. Next thing you know, it'll be 12. So,
yeah.
And I really appreciate everything everybody's done. It was a weird year, 2020. I have no idea what happened. I just really don't get it. But it did go by, and we're all here. And so stay healthy, and we'll see you at the next Zoom meeting or Zoom somehow. So let's adjourn.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
All right, thanks.
Happy New Year.